Hello?
Yes, is this how it's done?
The wedge exists. The wedge is there. That jury proved to me that they're a bunch of racists and that they have no understanding. After a full year on that jury, had no understanding of the law.
How could they have come to a verdict that quickly?
Yeah.
Well, if you let me answer, I can possibly give you guys a few answers.
Information.
They didn't look at anything.
Looked at any evidence.
And sir, you can sit there and party with OJ. In fact, you can promote his pay-per-view event.
Let me make a
OJ, some schlub is going to pay OJ Simpson $15 million to appear on pay-per-view. I wouldn't buy that thing. You could put a knife in my butt. I would not buy that pay-per-view. I wouldn't put a dime.
Is honestly contemplating whether or not you're going to
I'm speaking.
Nor subscribe to his pay-per-view special.
Yes, he is, because I got news for you. I got a lot of people who listen to me.
So let me ask you another, I would say, pretty important question.
And you don't listen, sir. You can support O.J. Simpson.
Indicated on your show whether or not all white juries have the emotional maturity and the responsibility to render an impartial...
Oh, get with it. Get with it. Let me tell you something, douchebag.
...to the Simi Valley jury.
Let me tell you something, douchebag. I am...
Why don't you back down for a second and let someone else make a point?
Because you're pointless.
A black person off the street in a bar or a hair salon...
So what does this case have to do with years of injustice toward black people? Nothing. This is a guy who murdered somebody. His blood was all over the place. I don't want. You know what? I can't talk to this guy.
After this verdict, white people didn't riot.
Right.
After the Simi Valley verdict, you had people running through the streets. What black people have now said is, if we don't hear the verdict, we want to hear in every case we pay attention to, we will tear up the city.
Let me tell you what happened with this jury. First of all, I blame the worst judge in history, Judge Ito. He dragged out this case for a year, this bastard.
He went to sleep.
And put it on TV. He had chance after chance to redeem himself and get that stupid thing off television because, you know, this is not funny. 2 people are dead. And by putting this on, you think that those jurors, I saw one of the jurors on TV, you think that black woman could have gone back to wherever the hell she lived, South Central, and dealt with the rage of the black community? This was such peer pressure. This was such a bamboozlement.
They had cameras at Howard University.
Yeah, cheering. People cheering. Educated people cheering the death of 2 people.
Yes, this was a sad incident where 2 people were killed.
Yes.
And the verdict is announced, and people get up and start partying.
Yeah, they started partying.
OJ party.
Right. And the thing is, that there's no party here. Everybody knows what happened. This jury felt, oh my God, this is one juror gave the Black Power a fist.
He gave him a fist. I don't know what fist it was.
Gave him a Black Power fist. I mean, this became a whole thing about, hey, screw the white man, screw the LAPD, screw this and that. The guy first of all, you got to go back to Gil Garcetti, who's another racist. This is a guy, he had a venue where there would have been a mixed jury, a white jury, it would have been an upscale jury, not a ghetto jury who had a whole agenda planned. He had that already. He had to move it because he felt this way black people wouldn't riot if a black jury put OJ away. Now, what kind of convoluted logic is that? Well, what are you worried about racial implications, Gil?
So we'll have to deal with a riot.
We'll deal with a riot. Well, who cares? So let black people riot. What's that got to do with anything? This guy's thinking ahead. Well, it's such an open and shut case here, which it was. It's an open and shut case. OJ did it. If you got an open and shut case, well, we'll be real bold about it. We're going to paint the venue with all black people so they can put them away. That's sick thinking. This guy, Gil Garcetti.
And you point out a very interesting fact, because in any other case, he doesn't think about where to pick the jury from.
He's a racist.
He picks it from wherever they are.
He's sitting analyzing the race issue. Who asked him to do that? This is Gil Garcetti. Gil Garcetti has to hand in his resignation. This man is incompetent. He's a jackass and a fool. And I got to tell you, I turned on the TV yesterday, and I got home late with this book. I'm so sorry I wrote another book.
Wait a minute, I thought the book was done.
No, are you crazy?
I'm crazy.
I would have.
Of course I'm
my
crazy.
throat would go out too, but I don't have time. Left me here in the lurch with the book and everything. I got to tell you something.
I broke down because you couldn't.
All these politicians are on TV. They ask Bob Dole. They ask this one.
Oh, yeah, what'd they say?
Senator Phil Gramm goes, I don't think it's appropriate for a senator to be commenting on a trial case.
Even the president was afraid to say.
They're all afraid to say the
I said,
truth.
this is the point at which you need a president who will say something.
He should have gotten up. The Pope. They asked the Pope, the great sage who's now in New York.
The Holy Father.
They said, Holy Father, did you... The Holy Father.
What kind of name is that for somebody?
Yeah,
Call
Holy
yourself
Father.
the Holy Father.
She calls himself the top Pollock, that's all. Whatever it is.
Holy
Father, they said. They're bothering the Pope with this, a holy man.
I said, he picked a bad time to come.
He did come, he did.
OJ is all over the place.
Although I got to admit, it actually is a good time. I was watching TV. I actually got comforted by watching the Pope. I didn't care. Yeah, it just made me, it got me off my OJ kick.
Because I know there was some senator who was planning to announce his retirement.
Yeah.
And he heard that OJ's verdict had come down.
Yeah.
He canceled his whole...
Yeah, right.
Canceled his press conference.
Smart
because
man.
He knew that he'd never get any coverage.
Anyway, so they asked the Pope. They said, Pope, you've been following OJ? Yes, I watched the... someone, one of his spokespeople said, yes, even the Pope watched the verdict.
And what did the Pope...
So one reporter said, hey, Pope, what do you think of the OJ? The Pope turned to him and said, I think it is good in America that all the ethnic groups live together.
Oh, boy.
So, that was his answer. I think he's on another planet. Yeah. I want to suck your blood. Pope looks horrible. What happened to him?
Sounds horrible.
I tell you, what happened to the
He
guy?
fell and broke his head.
Oh, he's dead.
He's an old... You know what he is? He is somebody's booby now.
The Pope is
He's
not.
Pope.
The Pope is not that old. He's 72. The man has fallen apart.
Yeah.
The pressure of being Pope has gotten to the guy.
You remember he rolled off that altar one day. He's never been the same since.
I'm telling you. I mean, my parents are in their 70s. I mean, they don't look great, but
But they watch their steps.
they don't look that bad.
It's a bad fall he took.
I think he's been rollerblading. I'm telling you, it'll wear you
I don't
down.
like in his eyes either.
You think you're having fun, but it wears you out. Well, God bless the Pope,
The Holy Father.
the Holy Father. So anyway, they ask all these politicians about, OJ. They can't make a statement. Larry King is on there sucking up. OJ, I got the phone call. OJ called in to Larry King.
Yeah.
And Larry King's beside himself. Larry King should be shunned today. Don't you understand? Not congratulated.
Oh, look, Barbara Walters is sniffing around.
Yeah. All of them.
They're all
So Larry
right.
King is going to be doing the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Do you know that?
No,
He's
I
going to do
didn't know
it.
that.
That's what I'm
He's
saying.
going-
Larry
Well-
King should be shunned.
Quite frankly, wasn't Larry King there?
Yes.
Larry
He's trying to
King
shake
knows-
OJ's hand.
He has always shown that he would be open to OJ.
Yeah. and kissing the ass of OJ. Listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. We must together as decent people, like the Amish used to do. You know, when a woman was shamed or a man was shamed
Yeah,
in their
the letter
community,
A, the scarlet
the
letter.
scarlet letter was put on them, and we must shame this OJ into a life of prison. Like I read today in the paper, within 12 hours of being released, he called Donald Trump for an apartment.
Yeah, he's thinking of moving to New York. I said, oh, lucky us.
I'm going to call Donald Trump because I know him. I'm begging him to say, please, I know you were once friends with OJ, but in light of this, I'm begging you, ignore this man's phone calls. Do not, I know you got to sell him an apartment. There's a law against not, selling people, but make it difficult at least. Shun him. Don't see him when he comes. Don't shake his hand.
There's a law against saying you wouldn't want that kind of notoriety in your apartment building that to protect your other tenants.
Perhaps you're right.
You must be a racist. You have a problem. Just because OJ's black, you say you can't give him an
I
apartment.
thought you have to give apartments to black people.
You bastard.
I guess you don't. In other words, you're saying there's a way around it. Absolutely. I predict OJ will be Larry King's 9th wife. They'll get married on pay-per-view. Let me take a break. I got to take a break. No, we got to take a break. Take a break and we'll talk when we get back. And you rest your voice. And if I hear you talking during the
I have
commercial.
something to tell you off the camera.
all
Off
right.
the camera, off the air.
All right, we'll be back right after this.